my Telegram journal over here. So in my Telegram journal, I was actually illustrating this to someone else this morning. That when I journal here, I'm basically having a chart on my whatever I'm trading, and I'm coming here and I'm marking my chart out, whatever. So the most recent chart markup is this chart here I've got, which is my CAD JPY. Um, and then I'm marking it up. So this was my markup over here. Where was it? Over here. So here, like this is my markup. So I take, right on the screen, write my things that I think price might want to do. And then I'm going to write a piece of text about what I believe. Like, for example, here, CAD JPY before. Okay, so I've taken what before I'm about to enter the trade or look to take the trade. This is my before. And even if I'm not going to take this trade, I'm still going to document this. Okay, it's a just part of price anticipation that you must do this. Okay, so I'm writing here, price has reacted on daily, so I would be expecting the daily to trade into the opposing time frame of the weekly. Having then traded into the weekly discount array, I would be looking at a daily opposing premium array for target pricing, meaning it's already traded down here into something of weekly nature, this weekly order block over here, and then off of that weekly order block we get this daily. So that's what I'm saying, the daily has reacted off of the weekly over here, and then this is where we would have looked to enter that trade. Now obviously price action has already gone and whole weeks and whatever, but this is where we were looking over here, over there, that single bar that was traded. So off the weekly we were looking now at the daily to say we should expect higher prices at a minimum to trade into our SIBI over here, our sell side. What is our SIBI?
Sell side imbalance, buy side is it?
What
Forgot
is
the word
what
and
is something that's not efficient?
very inefficient, yeah.
There we go. So that would be my first target, and probably maybe even as a second target or higher time frame target. We got this equal highs back from 2017 all the way at the top, all these three equal highs here into this daily SIBI over here. Okay, so then that is the before that I would have written, and then I would have written an after, basically over here. So after, that is where we were looking to buy from, this daily order block into our SIBI over here. Okay, so that would have been a price target, and I wrote here after, so I had the before and here's my after, and I say price traded into the first objective for 1:4 over here of the breaker, that is that zone that you see it trading into. And then I said, yeah, market closure on Friday, so trade collapsed and would be relevant, or if it was relevant, 90% scale before the market closes. So basically you're basically out the trade before the market closed on the Friday of the previous week. This was 2 weeks ago, not this last Friday. I would still like to see higher prices into the next week. So then obviously we bought over here, we traded higher. Here's where the market closed the previous week, and then actually price came lower. But then I looked for another buying opportunity over here to take prices higher over here, and I actually lost that trade. So then here I journaled and I said I lost that trade. So here price came back into the daily order block over here. Here's the daily order block, and I saw some willingness for price to move away, so I had entered, and just after the London Open, price dropped to take out the previous swing low over here, and then I was out the trade, and when I looked again, price was already pretty much my whole target. But I lost the trade. But the same thought process is that I'm still documenting whether I win, whether I lose, whether I take the trade, whether I don't take the trade. It is just
Okay.
my way, and the way I try to teach everyone is to build up this price anticipation skills. Because if you don't train your eye to see something, then you won't see it. And that's valid throughout life with anything. If you've trained your eyes to shoot with a crosshairs and a sniper rifle, then you're going to get better at it the more you practice it, and you're going to account for velocity, bullet drop, wind direction, all of those things. So same sort of scenario here as we are learning this price anticipation. And how we learn it is, yes, we learn it through the charts, you learn it through me, through these teachings, but at the same time, to develop your own skill and build upon that skill, you have to journal. And you'll actually see a vast improvement in yourself, even if you do it, Hassan, like once or twice a week. Nothing hectic, just once or twice, once even. It really doesn't matter. It's not about the quantity, it's about just doing this process. Because if you think about it, if you do one a week, which is fine, then by the end of the month, you're going to have four examples. And by the end of one quarter, there's 3 months. So you're going to have uh, four times three, you're going to have 12 examples, right? So, sure, maybe it's just going to be a slower process for you because you've got less, but that doesn't mean that the end result isn't going to be the same. Remember, we discussed this last week, is that you don't have to rush. There's no rush. It's about doing things at your own pace, the time that you have available. So, in order for you to excel at your trading and to develop the skill set needed to be a consistently profitable trader, journaling is just unfortunately a part and parcel of that whole scenario. If you were to do this seriously, and as much as you would want to think you would want to, it all comes down to, if you really want to do it, then there is no better time to start journaling than now. So from this day forward, you must just start. Even if it's simple, petty things that you're journaling, things that even these classes here that we are doing, if you want to make notes, send it to your journal.
Oh yeah, Darna, I do all that, that is all done.
Yeah.
I take all the notes here.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do that. And I send you a chart actually. I marked it yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
Darren.
Yeah.
The GBP USD.
Okay. Well, we
Uh,
can look at that
uh,
shortly, but I
yeah,
just wanted to discuss with you what I do. So that's what I do basically for my Telegram journal.
yeah,
Now,
no,
this
that's fine.
journal is,
Yeah,
is for me. There's no one else here. Sometimes, from time to time, you've seen me share my own journal entries, whether I take the trade, whether I lose the trade, whether I win the trade, I don't care. It's just to help other people to see how, because it's all very well I'm teaching how to trade, psychology, but then there's the part and parcel of that is just knowing what to journal. A lot of people struggle with, okay, I have this journal, but what do I do with it? What do I put in it? What information goes into it? How do I use it? And if you have a digital journal, like this would be classified as a digital journal because it's digital. I found it's better to have this and a book like you have. I have a book too, okay? And you write more things in your book because you are more maybe old school than I am. But I too, 2 years ago, I never had this electronic journal over here that you see. I used to completely and fully be in the book, writing books. I think these books here that I have here, this is a fairly new book, so I'm only about halfway through this one, so I've still got half the blank pages. But I think if I've done maybe 7 of these books, maybe one every 1.5 years, that's for me. And I've actually got them somewhere in the cupboard at the back here behind me. Um, I'd have to dig them up somewhere, but I used to draw out my charts instead of having it digitized. But I just found that it's more efficient and proficient to do it digitally, so that I can have this journal with me wherever I go, on my phone, on my tablet, on my PC, and I can sit anywhere and review my trades. If I'm at a bar or outside or in nature, if I want to be sitting by a waterfall, I can sit there and relax and enjoy what I've done, my work, and go through things. And that's the purpose of the journal, is to review your past works that you've done. Whether you win, whether you lose, whether you take the trade, whether you don't take the trade, and anything that you um, want to put in your journal that is personal to you. Like, for example, here, I don't only post trades in here, so sometimes I put some books in here that I want to work on reading or am reading, that I maybe want to read. So all of these books here I've put in here for me that I'm going to finish before the end of the year over here. But sometimes, like this here, this is a big piece of text that I've got, and it's not really strategy or anything. It's more like just a food for thought kind of thing. So this too is things I would post in my own. I think you've seen this. I did post this somewhere. This is about that $3 a week, and that 2%, 5% R, and that kind of thing. I think you saw this. But just things like this, whatever you want to put in your journal, it doesn't have to only be trades, but contributing to your journal development can only be beneficial. There's not anything wrong that you would put in your journal. It's personal to you. No one's going to check up on you and say, "Oh no, you can't put this in there, son. It's not trading." Sometimes I write personal notes in here that I wouldn't share, publicly because it's personal to me, and maybe I share things that I'm going through or have issues about, or maybe I fought with my wife and I want to write it down, or personal issues, maybe some sort of depression or sickness, or I don't know, whatever would come up, whatever you want to put onto paper. Sometimes it's nice to write things down. I'm not saying that you have to, I'm just saying it's part of life. You journal these things, and if you wanted to keep it trading specific, then by all means keep it trading specific. So this is one option for you, Hassan, and I like this option, and I normally recommend this option to most people because it's quite easy. If you get a Telegram for your PC, you could come in here and, like, for example, here we take a screenshot. So I just use this Windows snipping tool, and I've written on my chart, I've marked my chart out over here, and then I can say, okay, well, price is going to come back down over here and then possibly go up higher to take out these equal lows at the top over here, something like this. I can write extra additional to what I've already written on here, and then I can come to my journal over here and post this in my journal, and then I'm going to say CAD JPY, I don't know, before, and then I'm going to write what, whatever's going to be the explanation. Basically, like a
Mhm.
narrative, like I normally write a narrative or a story of what I expect price to do, and then that would be my journal entry. Okay, and then this is just one way, but there's many other platforms you can also use. Telegram is just one option. I like Telegram, I use it personally, but there's also let's see here. So if we go here, I know a couple of people use this software, so you can write this down, you can look into it or watch some YouTube videos about it. But this is Trello. Some people use Trello. It's sort of like I don't know, like a cards system. So if you look here, it's sort of like say a project management kind of software maybe, and then you could write cards of information, and then you can click on the card relating to the topic that you want to browse or put into the journal. So you'd have to look into this if it's something for you. I know there's a few guys that use this, so that would be Trello. And then there's another one, I think you've maybe heard of this one, which is
That's the one I am using there,
yeah, well,
Notion.
that's fine too. This is
Yeah.
also um, an option. It's entirely up to you. But I know with Notion, it's similar to how Trello would work. It's maybe a little bit more intricate. There's a lot of power when it comes to this. Um, but it really comes down to whatever is easier for you. It mustn't be a thing that you like dread doing because now it's so complicated, and then you have to pull articles or clip information and write big text, and maybe you don't want it to be like that. So for me, I just say to keep things simple, I use Telegram. And another feature I like about this Telegram is that I could come here to my journal, and I can click on the journal and click on this magnifying glass, and I say, if I want to pull up previous trades of any CAD JPY that I took, I can come here and click and search, or maybe if I did it like this, CAD JPY, yeah, CAD JPY, and then I can pull up all of my CAD JPY trades that I've put into my journal here, so, or if I want to do Euro USD, for example, so these are all my entries of what I would have potentially done over here, maybe. So something like this, where I was looking to take a trade, or whatever I put into my journal. But this is a nice feature to have, obviously, is I can search a particular term or something like institutional sponsorship, something like that, maybe. And maybe I wrote somewhere in a trade that here we go, I saw immediate institutional sponsorship, you know, or for example, IPTA. Maybe I took a trade, something I did with IPTA over here. Okay, so it would come down to whatever you want to do with your journal and however it suits you. It mustn't be something that's difficult. and that's why I use the Telegram option, because I can cut paste to the image right on my. You use that other trading platform, but it would work the same because you already know how to like write text and stuff. So you just take a screenshot, put it into Telegram, and then write your whatever information you want to write of your trade setup like this.